Toronto's rock station, Q107. That's Steve Miller Band. I'm Fearless Fred, and like you, I watched the protests going on throughout the United States, even here in Toronto and in Montreal over the weekend. Of course, the George Floyd is really just the catalyst for these protests. These protests are addressing a long list of people that have been victimized and persecuted by systematic racism. It's just that simple. That's what it is. And I see a lot of people doing a lot of talking as opposed to listening. And I didn't want to come on here as just another white guy telling everybody how they're supposed to feel. So I wanted to turn the mic over to friends of mine from the black community. And my buddy Anthony Rutgazer is on the phone with me right now. Now, Anthony, from a black perspective, when you see people saying that there's no need to protest, how does that make you feel?
I get jealous that I'm not living a life of privilege. That means I don't need to protest. That the worst thing happening to me is the city says stay home so that I can't get a haircut or bother a waitress for iced tea. I have to protest. People have to protest to make their voice heard on important matters. And saving lives, to me, is an important matter.
Okay, so what can we, as people of privilege, do to support those who feel oppressed right now?
Well, one of the things I've seen happening is people donating to organizations set up to bail out protesters. I think that's been great. Participate in the protests, but don't agitate, don't provoke cops, don't get physical with cops. Enough with this vandalism, and don't pull a spray can out of your pocket and write Black Lives Matter on a wall, because all you're doing is pointing police at black people when you should be supporting them. Protect the black people in a crowd, because if things go wrong, you are less likely. That's what this is all about. You are less likely to get arrested or beaten if you put yourself between a cop and a black person. One other thing that I think is important is knowing the difference between the protesters and the agitators, the unrelated agitators who have been going to protests to cause property damage and destruction. They're not part of those protests. Those protests are peaceful people trying to get a message out there. If you see somebody smashing windows or looting a store, they're not protesters. They're just troublemakers using the protests as camouflage.
Thank you so much, Anthony, for coming on the show today. I appreciate it.